Hey, welcome back to the channel, and this is my review of Wales versus Scotland. So I tell you what, who who would want to be a Welsh fan? Uh, it's just constant drama, and this game was it's kind of a classic. If I'm being honest, at the end of the game, I was completely exhausted after watching it. But the standard of rugby, and it was a bit of a come down after the French Irish game, was not high, but the drama was well and truly there. And that's what you come to expect being a Welsh fan. So they provided what they usually provide, and that was a good game. But rugby wise, not the best. Came down to Wales with a pretty settled team. Not many changes. Russell and Hugh Jones, a couple of their best players. Van der Merwe was playing as well. Unfortunately, King Horn, who I really like, and fingers crossed he can get fit for the British and Irish Lions next year. Wow, that's coming soon. Tuapolotu in the midfield as well played, and so Scotland, a very settled team. Wales had quite a few changes, like 12 or something like that, crazy. But they were players mainly that we've seen before. One of the big losses was, I think, George North in the centre, picked up an injury midweek. So Scotland looking the more settled team going into the match. From the kickoff, Wales actually don't look too bad. They get a couple of phases together, but early on signs that they're kicking the ball away. The scrum half, Gareth Davis, I think, he kicks the ball, and it's a loose kick inside the 22, and an easy mark is called. And unfortunately, that was a sign of things to come for Wales in the first half. Anyway, bad kicking, and it seems like it was a game plan, which is a little bit worrying. Gatland obviously hasn't shaken off in his old age that box kick kind of preference that he has. So it wasn't a good look for Wales in the first half, and they paid for it. So Scotland get an early penalty. Russell kicks it over after a couple of loose kicks from open play. And then there's a line-out turnover. I think Richie Gray gets a nice turnover for the Scottish. Kyle Steyn, who I thought when he had the ball in hand looked pretty dangerous. He has a good run, and they smash it up. Tuapolotu again is involved in everything good that Scotland did. And then Schoolman smashes it up. He's cut off his locks. So, unlike Samson, he maintained his strength, and he powers over under the posts. And a good try for Scotland, and they're already 10-0 in front. So, great start for Scotland. Yeah, so the Scottish, playing pretty efficiently. Ben White, who is starting at 9 for Scotland, is kicking really well from the base of the scrum, and he looks a very composed individual, and Scotland looking pretty good. So Scotland are looking the better team. There's a bit of zip in the pass, and they get another penalty, and they just look more structured when they're going forward, and more aggressive with their ball carrying, and pays dividends. And when they get into the 22, it seems like they inevitably score, and Van der Merwe gets his first try ever against Wales, and now that's converted from the touchline by Finn Russell, fair play, and it's 20-0 to Scotland. So Wales have already dug themselves into a hole here. So Scotland are looking very comfortable, and Wales are not really asking any questions of the Scottish defence at all. And their ball from the ruck is so slow, so they're struggling really to put any kind of attacking play together. So Scotland do go to sleep a little bit at the end of the half, and I can't really blame them from that. They're in such a dominant position, but maybe that's something that Townsend will have to address because you can't really go to sleep in international rugby like that. And they let Wales get into the game a little bit, but they fumble everything basically, and it's a bit of a mess. And after the dizzying heights of the Ireland-France game, this is a bit of a letdown. This first half has been very, very disappointing. And I had a terrible headache after watching Wales play the first half. But there we are. It goes into half-time, and let's see what Wales can do in the second half. Wales ring the changes during the second half break, and obviously they're going to try and change something up because they've been absolutely terrible so far this match. Thomas Williams comes on at 9, and he's been in good form for his club, but unfortunately, one of the first touches he has in the second half is to kick the ball down the Scottish player's throat. I think Finn Russell gathers it, gives a nice ball to Van der Merwe, who just skips across the line and absolutely burns the Welsh defence for pace. And that's like the worst possible start for Wales. And Scotland 27-0 in front. What a disaster. Again, Scotland are in such a dominant position. You do feel like their defence kind of relaxes a little bit, and they start to cough up penalties. Now, Turner has been chatting to the ref, Ben O'Keefe, the entire match, and the commentators were divided on whether that's a good strategy or not, and it turns out it's not, because Wales get a good attacking line out. They go for the rolling ball. It's pretty well executed, and it's dragged down, but Wales do get the try. It's not a penalty try, but he yellow cards Turner instantly, so he's off for 10 minutes, and the momentum now is strangely shifted to Wales, so let's see what they can do with it. 27-5. So it seems like Wales have finally woken up. I don't know what was wrong with them, and it's interesting. One of the commenters said that they've thrown their game plan out the window, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, these young lads obviously trust and respect Gatland, but if he's given them bad tactics to work with, then that's not a good look. But anyway, with 14 men, up against 14 men, Wales actually look pretty decent, and a bit of zip in the passing, good pace on the ball carries, more physical. And they eventually get over Dyer, who always looks dangerous. I think I really do like Dyer. I think he's a good player. He's a bit young and raw, but it's a very, very good player, I think. He gets over for a try, and Wales, creeping their way back into it. And it's 12-27 to Scotland. Wales continue their good momentum, and they're making the most of this one-player advantage, and it's definitely swinging in Wales's favour, and they're showing they can actually play a little bit of rugby. And Turner comes back on, but no sooner as he come on than Scotland get another yellow card, and they conceded, I think, over, I think it was 14, don't quote me, but I think it was 14 penalties on the trot, and Tupelotu, unfortunately, is the one to be punished for it, and he gets a yellow card. And he's a great player, so the ref said it was him. I didn't actually see it, but I'll take his word for it. But Scotland back down to 14 men, and Wales take advantage almost instantly. Wainwright powers over under the sticks and gets a nice try, and he played well all game. Good carries, his head was always up. He was always looking for something, and he was obviously up for it. So Gatland likes him apparently, and I think he justified his selection at 8, and besides his moustache. And but Wales 19-27. At this point, I'm just like, it's absolute chaos. I have no idea what's going to happen in the rest of the match. And welcome to being a Welsh fan. So Wales do keep the pressure on still, and they have another good line-out maul. So that was a plus point for them today. And Alex Mann gets over for a try. And like Wales are like well and truly on top at the moment, and it's 26-26. There's a point in it. After Scotland was so dominant in the first half, Wales have somehow managed to claw it back, and kudos to them. Great kind of character, but it's one of those games you just let it go. So you are wondering how Scotland are going to respond. They've been on the back foot big time, and their defence is. I think they said the commentary team had reverted to a passive defence, which is understandable when you're a man down. But when they do get the man back, they become more aggressive, and I think that's what earned them the victory. Surprise, surprise! In the end, is that the defence stepped up again and got Scotland back in the match. Interestingly, Willem Dafoe is in the audience. Willem Dafoe, the actor, I don't know if you know him, but funnily enough, I watched a movie of his last night, The Lighthouse, where he plays this crazy ex-sailor, and then I'm watching the Wales game. It's chaos on the pitch, and then they show Willem Dafoe. He's like the master of chaos in his role. So that was a bit strange, and it was very surreal. The entire game was a little bit surreal, to be honest with you. Scotland do attack, and they get back in a good position, but Rafael gets a great turnover, and he looks a little bit light to me. I've always thought a little bit easy to move off the ball, but honestly, he got a good couple of turnovers today, and if he can maintain that kind of standard, then he'll be a good player for Wales. But they mess up the resulting penalty, and they put Scotland back in the driving seat with 2 minutes to go. Wales struggle to try and get the win, but they never really put in Scotland in danger, and eventually the clock runs out, and Scotland get their first win in like over 20 years in Cardiff. So a fantastic result for them, and one that I think that Townsend needed in particular. Wales, like the first half and the second half, are totally different teams. And the worrying thing for me is, like, when they played to the game plan, they got absolutely embarrassed by Scotland. When they kind of let their hair down a little bit and actually played rugby, they didn't look too bad. But I think that in the long run, neither team will be particularly happy with their performance. Scotland, obviously, with the win, that's what they wanted coming down to Cardiff and Wales. So they'll be more happy. But it's interesting to see now how Gatland is going to approach the rest of these matches. He's got to give the players a little bit more freedom, I think, and hopefully Wales can do something, because that first half was embarrassing. But anyway, thank you for watching my review. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.